Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery. Today we are doing the Who is our theory around Regulus Black. We'll be looking again at the evidence for, against, some of your ideas around it, and coming up with what circumstances would have to be true for Regulus Black to be R. Okay, well let's get into it. Regulus Black is the brother of Sirius Black, legend. Regulus attended Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry in 1972 and was sorted into Slytherin House. He became a Death Eater in his youth, but then defected when he found Lord Voldemort what he would do in order to reach his aims. Regulus also learned about one of Voldemort's Horcruxes when he was enlisted to try and hide it. Voldemort enlisted his help with the use of Creature to try and test the defenses. He actually switched the Horcrux, as we know. He told Creature to destroy it, but Creature did not destroy it. So we know he started Hogwarts in 1972. We know that Hogwarts Mystery is set in 1984 after the rise of Lord Voldemort, and this means that potentially our brother would have to be quite a lot younger than us. So 1972, 1979. That means that our brother Jacob needs to be 5 years older than us. If he is more than that, then actually Regulus could be a potential R, because we know Regulus Black signed his initials on things, R-A-B, in the locket, which means that potentially he was being referred to as R by Jacob. So R would have to be somebody who could take down the cursed vaults if he was going to be involved in this. Therefore, let's look at his magical abilities. He was a Quidditch seeker. His magical knowledge was pretty good. He was intelligent and knowledgeable enough to know what Horcruxes are. Dark arts are the highest levels that only a few would ever know, and even deduced that Voldemort made one when no other Death Eaters knew. He also managed to slip past the defenses that Voldemort placed on the locket and managed to retrieve it, though at the cost of his own life. So those defenses would have only been passed if you were skilled, and they're the similar kind of defenses that you might see in some of the cursed vaults that we've had to face. So he definitely fits the bill in terms of magical abilities. I think one of the reasons why Regulus is a popular idea to some people is because of this note to the Dark Lord that I know I will be dead long before you read this. This was the note that was found in the switched Horcrux, and it was signed R.A.B. So it could have been that he started doing R.A.B. He probably put R, and then people were like, man, we don't know it's you when you put R on this map to the Forbidden Forest. I'll start putting R.A.B. now, thinking that people would know who he is, not having the confusion that we have where all the names in the Hogwarts Mystery World have an R in pretty much. So let's look at some of your comments around this. There was a really good stream of evidence from you guys, all coming together to work out when Regulus was actually at school. This is a comment from Japeg Hedge, who put forth the idea of Regulus as well. Dill Thomas stated that Regulus attended Hogwarts from 1972 to 1979, and he believes Jacob was sorted in 1980, so he didn't think it works, but he could be wrong, which was just a theory, and he said, could be wrong, and you guys just kind of looked into the evidence. Ninclau found that the character he plays confirmed start in 1984, which we all know. Jacob must have been expelled before Halloween 1981 and be no younger than 16 at the time for the theory of him joining Voldemort to be believable by other characters. That's actually very, very interesting. I think it's likely for Jacob himself to have been born in either 1962 or 1963, being 10 years older than your character at least, if he attended Hogwarts from about 1972 and 1979 until his expulsion in his 6th or 7th year. So it fits the bill. I think this is a really, really good point. Very clever way of working out that, if they had perceived Jacob to be a Death Eater, it would have been around the time that Voldemort was alive. Therefore, fitting the bill that Regulus could have been at Hogwarts at the same time as Jacob. Dark Green Ninja stated Regulus because the locket had R.A.B. So again, kind of along the lines of the R.A.B. We know them to sign his stuff with initials. Primatiara Saphira also stated Regulus Arcturus Black. Annalisa Beep Boop Beep Beep Pang. You should just make your name that, so anybody says that they have to do that. It could be Regulus Black, but he would probably sign his name R.A.B. That's the kind of one of the kind of faults of that is we know him to sign it R.A.B. So there's that. Why would he sign it R instead of R.A.B.? It could have been that at the time when he was leaving these notes, he wanted to remain anonymous, and that by putting RAB, he did that because he wanted Voldemort to know that it was from Regulus Arcturus Black. Delna Antia also put Regulus Black before he wanted to destroy Voldemort's Horcrux. He was part of the Death Eater gang. This assumes that Jacob was pursuing a dark path and not a good path, and that is not something that is clear. I think it's erring more on the side that he was a good person based on just some of what we've heard from other characters in the game, but it may be that that's a big twist leading to the point where actually Jacob is a Death Eater and we might have to go against him later on in the game. Dill Thomas gave his thoughts later on Regulus that the pros is that he most likely attended Hogwarts with Jacob. He's a strong wizard who is known to have worked with Voldemort before turning good. Cons though, he's rumoured to have died in 1980, meaning he won't be alive anymore. If he was alive, Regulus had more important things on his mind than some cursed vaults. Plus he's a good guy, but hey, we're a good guy too and we're pursuing the cursed vaults. And finally, how would he get around Hogwarts undetected? He's skilled, but he isn't an animagus that we're aware of. But then there's also the fact that we're getting around pretty easy undetected and we're not. We're good at distracting some of the teachers. He was good at magic, so maybe he was able to do similar things. Also, B. Barbie makes a good point that maybe R is not his or her real name at all, but it's a nickname like for the Marauders map. So it could be that their nickname begins with R, which would leave it open to being anyone. Overall, I think Regulus Arcturus Black is a potential. It's likely that he was around at the time of Jacob, which fits better than Marula, who wasn't and was in Jacob's notebook. Arcturus was skilled enough to do it. He knew about Horcruxes and other dark magic, and was probably strong enough to be able to take down some of the cursed vaults himself. My only reservation is that RAB was one of the biggest mysteries, I think, in Harry Potter. When I read that, I was like, who the hell is that? It's one of the big things for me that stood out when reading the books. And I feel like it would be a little bit too obvious for Hogwarts Mystery to copy that same mystery and it be the same person. For Regulus to be R would mean that he did sign his name R and then changed it to signing RAB. In future, R was maybe just for when he didn't want people to know who it was from, and RAB was when he did want Voldemort to know who it was from. It would have to be the case that he was around at the time of Jacob, which means that when we do find out when Jacob attended Hogwarts, if we do, we'll see whether that timeline fits. The only problem with it is it may be that R is somebody who is coming into our timeline, and that Regulus wouldn't be able to be that person, being that he is, God rest his soul, dead. And I think that R is going to be somebody that we know about, that is going to be in the future game that we're going to bump into alongside. I'm hoping it is going to be the one that Jacob's warning about. Maybe it could be a she. That whilst all this has been going on, all of our curse breaking, it could be that this was all just a plan leading us up to a certain point. There could be a big twist coming up in the future. Because for me, it's a little bit puzzling why in the Cursed Vaults, when we enter them, we don't leave anything behind for the next person to find. We don't reset the curse. Yet whoever tampered with the vaults, we know that somebody tampered with them and went far enough to be able to put objects in them. Either they created them, and that's when they started, or they were able to go in, put some items to lure us into it, to then set us up for something. For me, it feels like it fits a bit better that there is somebody actively doing things, tampering with the vaults once they're ready, that is luring us into the vaults for something bad coming up in the future. I don't know, that's just one of my theories. What do you guys think? Let me know what you guys think about Regulus Arcturus Black. I think this is somebody who has way more potential than Marula to be R, but I just think it might be just too much of an obvious copy from the books if it was to be him. Now the next one we will be doing is on Tom Riddle, Voldemort himself, because he was the third most popular theory. So by all means pop your comments below in theories, pros and cons. They're really helpful. I think they make the videos a lot better when you guys get to input stuff, because you've got loads of ideas that I'm not even thinking about. Now I'm going to be doing a video next which is going to be about another suggestion for R, which we have only just recently found in the chapter that was released from Dumbledore. So be sure to look out for that one. I think this could be a potential for it, but we'll see. Okay, that's all for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have, please hit the like button and hit subscribe if you want to keep up to date with future information. That's all from me. See you soon.